Hi, my name is Leslie Alpert, and I am a teacher here at Santiago High School. I teach AP Human Geography and World History. Today, my students will be working on a lesson that we've been participating in for 3 days. On day 1, students learned about the origins and the practices of Buddhism. They read some source material that we had gathered from the British Library. On day 2, students really delved into the different schools of Buddhism. They were assigned different schools such as Mahayana, Theravada, and Vajrayana. And today on day 3, students will be presenting what they've learned to the class. And then as a culminating activity, students will be creating art from the Buddhist stencils that were discovered in the library cave in the Mogao Caves. All this information was gathered from the Fulbright program that we had participated in London. And so today I'm really excited for you to see my students in action, and I hope that you enjoy this lesson. Thank you so much for participating and joining us in our adventures. Hello everybody, today is Tuesday, it's December 10th. Let's take a look at our agenda. We're going to be continuing on our lesson on Buddhism. Specifically, we're going to look at this essential question: how did Buddhism diffuse and grow to become a universal religion? We're going to be working on that KWL chart as our warm-up. We're going to present on our schools of Buddhism that we learned about yesterday. We're going to be doing a Buddha stencil and then a summary. So what I would love for you to do is for you to take out our KWL chart that we were working on for the last couple days. So let's take this paper out. And what I would like for you to do is to add any more bullet points. So I know your charts have things that you've already learned, but you read some information on your different school of Buddhism. So I'd like you to add to your chart. Maybe you have a question that is brewing in your head that you're like, well, I'm still kind of confused about this. So I'd like to give you a few moments to kind of think about your learning. Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, what I would like for you to do now is for you to turn to your teammates and then share with your teammates your information that you've learned so far, or if you have a question that's still kind of in your head. So everyone turn to your teammates and please share with your teammates. Okay, so I want you to look at your teammates, decide who is going to stand up and share. So decide amongst yourselves who's going to stand up and share. All right, looks like Eli is standing. Sarah, Camila, you're going to speak into the microphone. We'll pass it around in a little bit. So Eli, thank you for being brave and standing up and sharing. So Eli, go ahead and speak into your microphone. Tell us what you added to your chart or any questions that you had.
One of the questions that I put was, does becoming a lion automatically mean that you're out of the cycle of rebirth? So once you're done meditating in lion, does it automatically mean that you're out of the cycle and you're not going to be reborn again?
Yeah, okay, so what kind of happens after you're out of the cycle of rebirth? Okay, great question. We can pass it to Jolene. So Jolene, you can ask a question or you can just add to what you've learned about Buddhism.
A question I have for what do you want to know about Buddhism is, why is there 3 schools of Buddhism and why is it called schools?
Okay, why is there 3 schools and why is it called schools? Okay, great question. I'm writing it down. Okay, can you pass the mic to Sarah?
I put something I learned was that Buddha had teachings called the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold, and I put that at the age 35 he reached enlightenment.
Very nice, thank you for sharing that. And last but not least,
I wanted to ask if Buddhism had any influence on Hinduism or if it was the opposite way, if Hinduism had any influence on it.
So Hinduism, kind of the connection between Hinduism and Buddhism. All right, you guys have really great questions, so thank you for that. And so, I love all those questions. Thank you for asking those questions and participating. Let's give those people a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Okay, so let's do Camila's question first, Hinduism and Buddhism. So Hinduism, as you know, is one of the oldest religions. So actually Hinduism came first, and then Buddhism came later. And so there's going to be lots of overlap in terms of like the idea of like reincarnation. So I would say that the Hinduism is like the origin, and then Buddhism came after. So not the other way around necessarily. And then why are there schools? Why are there 3 schools? So that actually will go into like that diffusion. So as Buddhism diffused, which we're going to learn about in our School of Buddhism presentation, it's going to interact with different cultures. So as it interacts with different cultures, like different practices will develop. And why is it called schools? I mean, it could be called, branches. It's just, we could have used the word branches interchangeably. So it's just a way of categorizing it. So yeah, there's no reason specifically for the term schools. We could have said branches. And then the question about the cycle of rebirth. So if you attain enlightenment, you're basically done with reincarnation. And so that means your soul is freed. And you've entered the state of nirvana. So you don't have to wake up at 7 a.m. anymore and go to school. You don't have to have a breakup with a boyfriend or girlfriend. You don't have to worry about paying the bills. Like, you're done with all that, right? So that's kind of the ultimate goal, is to enter nirvana, and then you don't have to, continue that cycle of rebirth. So that's hopefully that answers your question. So thank you for completing that warm-up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take out our documents on our schools of Buddhism. So take out either your school of Buddhism Mahayana, Vajrayana, and Theravada. Okay? And so what I would like for you to do is to get back with your teammates who you read that document with. So let's have Isabella's group go over there. Isabella, you are Theravada? Okay, so Theravada over here, Mahayana up here in the front, and Vajrayana over here on the side. So please go to your school of Buddhism. Okay, and now that you're with your teammates, I'm going to give you a few moments to review your school of Buddhism. Trace the diffusion, the origins, make sure, flip it to the back side. Do you have your cultural hearth, your practices, your enlightenment completed? You met with the other teams yesterday. Maybe you are missing the path to enlightenment for Theravada. Maybe you don't have practices. So I'm going to give you a few moments to discuss with your team your school of Buddhism. So everyone go ahead and chat with your teammates what you have. So what we're going to do next is decide amongst yourselves. We're going to need one person from each team to come up and present on their school of Buddhism. So look at each other, who's going to do it? You're going to come up, you're going to tell us about the cultural hearth, the practices, and the path to enlightenment. And then you're going to show us your map and show us how it diffused from its cultural hearth and the geography. Right, so have a conversation. Who feels comfortable coming up and sharing that?
So my school of Buddhism is Theravada. Its cultural hearth is in northeastern India. They practice meditation and self-discipline, and it's called a monastic practice, so only monks and nuns can achieve it. And their achievement, or their path to enlightenment, is becoming an arhat. This is the cultural hearth, northeastern India, and then Theravada diffused down here, south of India, and then east into China and South Korea, Japan, and South Asian countries.
The only, so the one thing I'd like to correct, so if we look geographically, so looking at the map, we have Sri Lanka. I like how you shaded in all those different locations. So yeah, so very nice. Let's have our next group. Thank you, Evan. All right, let's get, this group is Vajrayana. Who's coming up for Vajrayana? Is mostly in Southeast Asia. All right, go ahead and tell us about Vajrayana.
So our school, so what we got was Vajrayana Buddhism. It's a region of South Asia, so it's like down here. Some practices that they do are rituals, reciting mantras, or hand gestures or mudras, which I searched up, and it's just like symbolic hand gestures that they do when they're meditating or like doing yoga. Their path to enlightenment is that it's their way of life. So it's not like a practice, it's like their way of living. They can reach in one lifetime, like you can reach in your single lifetime. And one main thing that is different than most of the others is that they believe that attachments are not the cause of your sufferings. So they believe that it's not necessary to abandon objects. And then for the map, Vajrayana basically spread everywhere. First, it spread upwards to Tibet, and then it went to the right to the Himalayan region over here to the right, and then it just started spreading upward into Asia and China.
Very nice. So it's mostly north, whereas our other one went more southeast. So give Eli a round of applause, everybody. Thank you. And last but not least, our Mahayana Buddhism. Looks like Jolene.
So my school of Buddhism is Mahayana, and the cultural hearth of Mahayana is northeast of South Asia. And the practices are they study, meditate, and do selfless services. And then for path to enlightenment, they do acts of merits, and then there are no exclusions to who can be enlightened. So anyone can be enlightened. And then for the map, mainly Mahayana diffused in Asia and Russia, and then here's the culture hearth in Northeast Asia. India.
Very nice. So moving more towards China, Japan, Korea, and Mongolia. All right, give Jolene a round of applause, everybody. So thank you for that. So that was our schools of Buddhism. And so you can stay in your teams. So something that we're going to move on to now is we are going to talk about the Mogao Caves. So the Mogao Caves is a repository. What they ended up discovering was 1987, it was designated UNESCO World Heritage Site. So you don't know what UNESCO is, but we're gonna learn about the United Nations, and it stands for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, Cultural Organization. And the United Nations, this organization, designated that these Mogao Caves are worthy of being like a site that's important to all of humanity. And so it is, there are Buddhist art from the 4th to 14th century. So 1,000 years of Buddhist art was in this cave, in these series of caves. There's 492 caves that have 45,000 square miles of murals, thousands of stories of the life of the Buddha, life along the Silk Road. And so there's all these connections that are being made along the Silk Roads here. And let's look at the geography a little bit, because we're in geography class, so you should know where we're at in the world. So here you can see the little dot. We are here in northern China. As you guys showed on your map, a lot of the Buddhism beliefs spread. And I wanted you to see some photos. Okay, so there's the exterior. And you can see where these caves are. They have, made it safe, and they've created like walkways. But you can go into these caves, and you can view the Buddhist art that's in there. And I wanted you to see a little video clip of what the interior of a Buddhist cave looks like. So there's 492 of these caves with all this beautiful art. And in 2018, dun, 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 I was able to go to it. So these lovely humans that are here with us visiting, they actually like took me on a once in a lifetime opportunity to go to this UNESCO World Heritage Site. So there I am in front of the iconic location. So it was a great opportunity for me, and that's how we're studying this lesson today, is because of this trip that we took studying the Silk Roads. And so what I want you to take a look at, oopsies, let me stop that, is let's take a look now at the interior of the caves. So let's look at this. We're just gonna take a moment. This is from the British Library, and we're looking at this photo. Okay, just take a moment. Here's another one from Cave 61. Remember, there's 492 preserved caves. Okay, let's look at this one. Go ahead and on your papers, just jot down any interesting observations that you have, maybe a question you have from looking at these photos of these caves. So somewhere on your notes, an observation, a question, I'll leave it right there for you to jot down anything you notice. Okay, go ahead and tell your teammate your question or your observation about these images.
I had asked, what does the art mean, and like, does it tell a story?
Okay, so yeah, there's actually lots of different murals. This one is of the Buddha, but there are stories. So there's some that have like stories, and there's animals, there's angels, apsaras. So this is just one scene, but there's definitely lots of different stories being told. Okay, who's gonna take the mic? Catherine, I don't think you've talked yet. Catherine, go for it.
I noticed that in all three pictures, there's depictions of people on the walls or ceilings meditating.
Very nice. So there's depictions of, and they would be Buddha, right? On the walls, on the ceiling. Thank you.
I put, my question was, who are the people, or who is the person in the images?
Very nice. Thank you. And so great questions. And so these are images of Buddha. Now, there's one school of thought, one school of Buddhism, where you can achieve merit. What school of Buddhism is that? Where you can achieve merit, and I can see Jolene already saying it. Jolene? Mahayana Buddhism. So you can achieve merit. And so one way you can achieve merit is by making copies of the Buddha. And so that's what they're doing. In these caves, they're replicating. Let's go back over here. How many Buddhas do you think are in here? 10, 20, thousands, hundreds? Okay. I want you to think about this. It's 1,000 years ago. They're in a cave. It's dark. How the heck are they making all these Buddhas? And are they pretty symmetrical? Are they almost the same size? Yeah, right? So how are they doing this 1,000 years ago? Well, while I was on my program, they discovered, or in the archives, they found in the library cave, a stencil. So they found in this library cave, in this cache of documents, they found this stencil. And so what they discovered with this stencil is they found another one with holes in it. Do you guys see the holes? Okay, so what they did was they took this stencil, put it up on the ceiling, got dust, charcoal, right? Copied it onto the ceiling, took it down, and then they were left with an outline. And they did that for all the Buddhas. So all those Buddhas are from that stencil, okay? And so I made the 2024 version. And when I say I, my husband, because my husband's the artist, not me. So he made the 2024 version. He took that primary source and he replicated it on Photoshop. Okay. Then from Photoshop, I made a version for you guys. So you guys are going to accumulate lots of merit today because you are going to make your own Buddha stencils. Okay. And so I'm going to pass out the stencils. Eli, would you help me out? Can you give everybody 2 pieces of paper? And I'm going to pass out the stencils. You can clear your desk because it's going to get a little bit messy. And you're going to be accumulating a lot of merit today. Here we go. So everyone should have 2 pieces of paper. Colors for you. And here's some more colors for you. Okay. Oh, thank you. So what you're going to do is you're going to line up your stencil onto the paper that Eli has provided you. And with your inkers, there's different color inks, okay? You're going to line it up, and you are going to dab your ink and make a Buddha stencil. You're going to do this twice. We tried this out in 0 period, and try not to make it super saturated. So you want it to be wet, but not soaking wet, because when it becomes soaking wet, then the ink kind of runs all over. So I want you to unscrew the inkers, and then kind of dab. You can use different colors and make a Buddha stencil. So go ahead and work on that for a few minutes. You can be creative. You have lots of different colors. Okay, I see some of you are done with your first. Oh, okay, some of you are lifting it up. You already have your first outline done. That looks pretty good. So on your second go, right? So this is your first attempt at getting some merit. Okay, now hold on. I know people are eager to do the second one already. Take a look and show your teammates how your first one came out. Okay, so again, I would love for you to get up, go visit another team. Look at Jolene's. Jolene used a multiple color one. Oh, that came out so pretty.
I got tired with just one.
I know, and you and you had ink. You don't have charcoal. Oh wow, Brian's came out really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of great ones. Again, if you want to get up and see what other people have. Okay, we're showing our teammates. Okay, once you have your first one, go ahead and start working on your second one. Maybe you want to add a little bit of detail, change it up a little bit. Maybe you want to use different colors. If you want, you can borrow colors from another team. So other teams have different colors. So maybe you're like, ooh, I want to borrow your green. All right, this is our second go. So I see a lot of you are wrapping up your second one. How'd your second one turn out, Brian? Oh, you're still almost done. Okay. You like which one better? That one? Let's see, Brian. Let's see. Ooh, that came out clean. So I know a lot of you are done with your second Buddha stencil. So what we're going to do next is we still have some time. We are going to take all these stencils. You're going to finish them. All you have right now is the rough outline. You need to design it, and we're going to have it look your interpretation. Okay? So there are markers in the back. There's supplies in the back, so I want one of you guys to go grab the supply box in the back. And then eventually our wall is going to be covered. We're going to make a Buddha cave in Santiago High School. So we're going to have all your artwork, your Buddha stencils up on our wall. So if you're ready to go grab a supply box and then start designing your art, your Buddha art. You're getting a lot of merit, everybody. Okay, everybody, we have about 8 minutes before the bell rings. So I'd like you to maybe kind of finish up what you have right now. I know you guys are busy doing your art. This will be due on Monday. Okay, so you have until Monday to kind of finish your artwork. I'd love your name on it and the date on it so that we can have a record, just like the artists. You know, whenever you do art, you sign and you date it so that we have a record of who the artist is. So this will be due on Monday. So let's put away the art and then the inks, the little ink pens, if you could throw them in the purple bin in the back, and let's fix our seats. So kind of pack it up, everybody. Okay, don't put away your stencils, keep it out. I want you to show your teammates your stencils because you were in a different team from them. So show them how your 2 stencils came out and how you're designing them. Oh, Isabella, you can stay over there for now. Thank you. So everyone show your teammates your stencils. And so before we leave, we're basically done. Our last thing, now that we are finished, is what have you learned in these last 3 days about Buddhism? What have you learned in this Buddhist art that we did? So go ahead and kind of think about our culminating experience. What have you learned about Buddhism in these last 3 days? So fill in this section. All right, last thing before the bell rings in a few minutes. Turn to your teammates, tell your teammates, what is one more thing you learned? Or what's something you learned now that you're done with this lesson? Okay, we're gonna have Brian, Timothy, and Adon. So Brian, go ahead and tell us your final thing to end our lesson.
From this lesson, I learned that the Buddhists use stencils to make artwork and depictions of Buddha all over walls in the caves.
Nice, thank you. We'll go Timothy.
I also learned that drawing these pictures of Buddha gives you merit.
Yeah, so it's part of that school of thought of Mahayana, giving you merit.
I learned that there's many ways to reach enlightenment.
Yeah, for Buddhists, depending on the school of Buddhism. He said there's many different schools of Buddhism and different ways to reach enlightenment. Okay, so thank you everybody for participating. We are done with our lesson, and so hopefully you have lots of knowledge about Buddhism. I will collect these 2 papers tomorrow, so you should have your notes, and then we'll staple them tomorrow, have them all stapled with your name on it, and I'll collect it tomorrow, and then your art will be due on Monday. Okay, thank you guys, and have a hangout, and I'm going to talk to our guests for the last 2 minutes of class. So thank you guys, and thank you guys for being so great, and when this new setup with the video and everything. So thank you guys.